So nobody really touches Alcremie with a 10-foot pole when it comes to competitive mons. But I'll tell you what, this little dessert can become an absolute menace that should have horror stories written about it. So it's got an interesting stat spread with base 110 special attack and good special defense at 121. And today my plan is to make sure no opponent ever has a sweet tooth again by starting off with a little setup in Calm Mind. Paired with its big natural special defense, this should allow it to set up relatively easily against the special attackers. If we can buy enough time to be able to set up with acid armor to double our physical defense, this is where people start to realize that they're in some trouble. Its aroma availability, which everybody forgets about, can help in blocking things like Encore, Taunt, or Disable, and we can freely make ourselves as annoyingly bulky as possible. We've now got Stab Draining Kiss to deal decent damage with the setup, but mostly for the ability to heal ourselves up just when everybody thinks they've got us almost in knockout range. We bust out Stored Power, which becomes insanely strong with the more setup we're able to get. And then Terra Poison can help out a whole lot defensively while also now being immune to being poisoned. We can potentially switch into opposing setup to activate a Mirror Herb to steal stat boost and jumpstart the process. But the main plan today will be to take an adorable little sugar fairy and make it the most evil thing imaginable. Look, if you've never had your life completely ruined by a pile of whipped cream, consider yourself lucky. Alcremie is one of those Pokemon that's incredibly unsuspecting and that is just designed to be a cute little guy, but it will become an absolute evil monster. So that is the plan. If that sounds like a fun time to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And with that, let's jump into the match. All right, so my opponent is going to go ahead and lead off with the Glimmora. Now, as I've got a Galvantula, most of the time people are going to expect me to click Sticky Web turn 1. But I am, in fact, wearing sunglasses. I got the choice specs on, baby. I'm here to just do some big boy damage. Now, I'm thinking I could just go for a Volt Switch, but also I figure they probably just set up Stealth Rock. So you know what? I'm going to Thunder, knock it down to its Focus Sash. But instead, I miss, and then instead of going for Stealth Rock, they actually Power Gem, which ends up knocking me out. So that's got to be the most worthless spider lead of all time. I just get destroyed by some rocks right away. I honestly forget that with Compound Eyes, Thunder can even miss. But, you know, it's a 9% chance, and so sometimes the universe just hates you. So after this severe spider disappointment, I now decide to go into Meowstic. And reason for that is because I can go for a Psychic Noise. It's not going to be able to knock it out. I figured, I mean, it is probably Sash anyway, but they're going to go ahead and likely set up the Stealth Rock. That gives me the free turn to activate a Throat Spray. And now, not only is the throat feeling good, but also Meowstic is looking a little bit more scary here. I get that +1. They do just end up going for the Stealth Rock, which is great. I didn't have to take any unnecessary damage. And Meowstic is an interesting mon. Everybody's going to expect something like Screens or even just anything Prankster, but if you can use that base 104 speed, which is kind of weird, it can get going pretty decently. So as I go for another Psychic Noise, they end up swapping into this big fat boy. They go to the Belly Bolt here, and as you're going to see, it does not do much damage. That tells me it's likely Assault Vest, and I figure, you know, wait, one way I can get around that, or I mean, at least try to threaten Tubby a little bit, would be to go for a Nasty Plot. If I can get to +3, a Psychic Noise will hurt, and then also it'll block them from healing with a Parabolic Charge. So they have different plans, however, and as they end up going for the Terra Electric, while I do outspeed, of course, I get up that little Nasty Plot and bounce back and forth, boom, just like that, +3 special attack. However, the problem now becomes, a Terra boosted Thunderbolt is gonna be just enough to knock out the Meowstic. So I did not expect to have to deal with that kind of damage from Buddy straight away. So, you know, while that is unfortunate, at least they use up their Terra, and, you know, now I know what I'm working with here. So I decide it might just be time for dessert. It seems a little early, but look, I'm gonna go into the Alcremie here, and it might just be time to give some boys some diabetes. So I go for the Calm Mind. The reason why I go into this thing is because I know I can outspeed the guy. I can go first, get up that Calm Mind, should allow me to take a little less than half from a Thunderbolt. And as they end up going for the Parabolic Charge, that works out nicely. That doesn't do very much. While it does heal them up, it's fine. Literally, all I need to do is just boost this thing just enough to the point where I can become an absolute menace. So I am going to Calm Mind again. They realize as I can continue to Calm Mind, they're probably not going to get too far with the old frog. So they do end up swapping. Now check it out. They end up bringing in the Glimmora, who does come in for free. As I get up a second Calm Mind, just like that, I'm at +2 special attack, +2 special defense. So while I know I can take attacks on the special side, they have two options here. Now, the main reason why I figure they probably go into this is because, you know, they see the setup and they probably want to go and get me poisoned here. That's one easy way to stop the guy, or they just go for Sludge Wave damage. So I am going to bust out the Terra Poison. And now look at what you forced me to do. You forced me to poison the desserts. and that never ends well for anybody. So I go for the Terra Poison, and it works out perfectly because as they go for a Mortal Spin, it first of all doesn't do anything, but also they cannot poison me, and thank God this thing was not the Corrosion ability. That actually would have been hilarious. So that then allows me to get off an Acid Armor, and just like that, we are boosted the hell up, and also now just Skull and Crossbones, which is a pretty good interpretation of what this what this thing is. So as I end up going for the stored power here just to knock out the Glamora, they swap into the big ass fat whale that they named Yerma, which first of all is rude. Hey, look, she's a nice lady, but also they end up going for the Bulldoze. I'm able to take it because of that acid armor, and then I smooch it. I'm able to just then get so much health back because that whale is just full of HP, and pop his ass like a freaking pinata. So down goes the Titan, and now, honestly, I'm in a pretty damn good spot, it feels like, with the Alcremie. I've got 2 Calm Minds, I've got an acid armor, and I've got an absolute taste for death. So here's the funny part. They end up going into the Alolan Ninetales, and as they're able to outspeed, they go for the Disable. Doesn't work. Sweet Veil, baby. Everybody forgets that even exists. You cannot Encore. You can't go for things like Disable. But one thing for sure is you are going to be kissed. So I go for a Draining Kiss. It does not do much, honestly, because I'm not incredibly powerful. But the good part is I'm incredibly hard to kill. So as they now go for the Aurora Veil, I figure now seems like a pretty good time to continue to boost up. I'm going to go for another Calm Mind. That brings me up to +3 special attack, +3 special defense, and again, we're at +2 defense. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't poison. They go for a Blizzard, and yeah, that does absolutely nothing. I'm then able to go for a Stored Power, which I was hoping for a knockout there. Sadly, it's just able to live due to the Aurora Veil. But they continue to Blizzard, probably just hoping for a crit or some type of freeze. Basically, you're gonna need some luck on your side if you want to get through this thing at this point. So I can finish it off with a Draining Kiss, which is incredibly satisfying. So down goes the Alola Tails, and while the Aurora Veil is up, I mean, it's like, yeah, my offenses are dampened. However, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna touch the Alcremie? That becomes the problem. So first of all, they go into the Gyarados here. There's no Stealth Rock up, so he comes in feeling healthy, but I'm just gonna Draining Kiss. I'm just gonna continue to try to slowly whittle things down and heal myself up. As they Waterfall, doesn't do much, but also my Draining Kiss doesn't do much. But the good part is I get almost more back from the heal from that than they're able to do with the Waterfall, which is pretty sweet. No pun intended. So look, I'm going to continue to Draining Kiss. The good thing is for them, at least, you know, they have the ability to work around a little bit and try to figure out an answer. While I'm not able to do much to them because of that Aurora Veil, it's slowly going to wear out. But as they swap to the Glamora here, the Draining Kiss is going to finish that fella off, so I get myself, you know, a little bit of health for the road. Also grab a nice little knockout. Good for the Alcremie Ego, and now we're working up a little kill streak here. So as there's a UAV incoming, they decide to go back into the Belly Bolt. This thing is probably their best damage output here, because first of all, I'm faster, which is generally not good against Belly Bolt, because while I can Draining Kiss it, it doesn't do much, but it actually just gives it its Electromorphosis ability, which now charges it up to increase its electric damage, and then a Thunderbolt paired with that Terra boost and its ability, that shit actually kind of hurt it. So it does a bunch of damage with that, and I realize I'm probably not going to get very far by continuing to just charge the thing up and take attacks. So guess what I'm going to do is just go for an evil Calm Mind. That's going to not charge it up. It's also going to boost my special defense, and now as they attack, guess what? We're going to be able to eat it. And my plan is just to keep this damn thing alive as long as possible. Its best bet is just to stay alive, because we can slowly whittle things down as they do go for the Parabolic Charge. It doesn't really hurt at all, and I'm just going to continue to Calm Mind, because look, if I can get to +6 on either, first of all, it's going to boost up stored power, but it's going to make me nearly invincible on the special side. So I Calm Mind again. Here's where they end up going for the Mud Shot. So that is a super effective hit and makes things a little interesting, because that's going to drop my speed and the Aurora Veil wears off. So look, now with the speed drop, here's the best part. They are going to be faster now. So they go for a Thunderbolt, almost has enough to knock me out, but not quite. And luckily, I'm able to then Draining Kiss after some more Calm Minds and the Aurora Veil going away. It does more damage, which now allows me to heal up even more. And now I charge it off on an offset turn where it's not going to be able to use that boost. You need to, Belly Bolt requires that to be attacked before they attack to get that boost. So the Mud Shot in the long run kind of ended up hoeing my dude. So they now just continue to Parabolic Charge. I take it easily. I can just slowly whittle Buddy down with some smooches, and that actually just ends up taking care of it. And that Belly Bolt just had about the roughest time ever, because I take it out and it did not really make any progress, because now I'm like more healthy than when we first met the guy. So This thing is just evil. You gotta just feel a little bit bad. So as they go into the Gyarados here, I'm like, all right, I mean, it could Earthquake, right? But I have defense. They go for a Waterfall, and the funny part is it flinches, which, you know, Waterfall it can do that. That's fine. All I gotta do is break through here and get off a Kiss to get all this health back. They Waterfall again, and that flinches twice in a row. It's a 20% chance, but it seems like whenever you get flinched by a Waterfall, it feels like it happens twice in a row always. I don't know what it is about it, but luckily the third one does not flinch. Allows me to plant one right on him, and I don't knock it out, but I get just so much health back that they've got to just feel like they're really absolutely hoed. So they continue to Waterfall. Now, it's actually impressive that I have not been hit by a critical hit thus far. But I will not jinx it because it would be hilarious if we can get the full body bag with the Alcremie. So I go for one more Kiss. That is going to knock out the Gyarados. And they've got to feel like, what the hell even is this thing made of? I mean, I don't know what kind of whipped cream Buddy came from, but it's absolutely insane. So look, their final mon is Noivern, and I mean, bad news for them is that all they can do is hit me with a Hurricane, which I am so boosted and naturally bulky on the special side that I absolutely take that insanely nicely. And a super effective Draining Kiss is not only going to knock out the Noivern, but also we finish off the game at full health with the Alcremie. An absolute diabolical performance by the little baby freaking cream guy. So thank you to the Lord for not allowing me to be crit there. And that is a great display of what this thing can do. And it's literally, it's wild. Now, will it be able to do that every time? Definitely not. But we're going to now, it's not going to bring us into game number 2. Because I do want to try to see if we can pop the thing off at least a little bit more. So if you're stuck around this far into the video, and now's the time I ask, hey, go ahead and hit that like button for me. You've made it this far, you might as well hit the button. And with that, let's just jump into the game. All right, so this time I'm seeing the Vikavolt on their squad, so I'm thinking they probably are Sticky Web. Instead, they lead off with Goat. And I'm like, all right, I mean, hey, Goat lead, did not expect. I've got myself the Galvantula. Again, I do not have the Sticky Web. I decided to Volt Switch, because I'm thinking they probably want to swap out fearing a Bug Buzz, right? No, the Goat is not afraid of shit. They did end up staying in. A Volt Switch does get a crit, so that's kind of nice. But now, I don't know exactly what this thing wants to do, but I also know that, hey, it seems like a decent candidate to just go right into the Alcremie. I bring the thing in. I thought maybe they would even go for something like a Bulk Up, but instead they play rough, which is confusing, but I take it nicely, and now I can just go for an Acid Armor. I'm like, if you want to stay in on the Goat, you're going to hit me on the physical side, that is fine. They go now for a Horn Leech, and after doubling my defenses, immediately I'm just already a bulky monster that you hate to see. So Horn Leech does nothing, and now I'm like, might as well. Hey, look, this is an all-you-can-eat buffet out here. I'm just gonna go for a Calm Mind also, and just while it does seem like they have some answers on their team, I'm just gonna have them deal with this thing right from the start. So I get that Calm Mind up. It turns out now this thing goes for a Surf. So I mean, never let them know your next move, I guess, when it comes to this Goat. I have no idea. They didn't even realize the thing could learn Surf, but I'm going to continue to Calm Mind, because the good thing is it's like they can chip me all they want. A lot of people probably just figure, hey, I can chip the thing, I can bring something in to outspeed it, but that's where they're wrong. I'm able to just get my health back with a Draining Kiss as soon as I smooch them. So the Earthquake, I'm able to go for a Draining Kiss. It does not do much. Again, this thing, it really does need a lot of help when it comes to doing damage with Draining Kiss, just because you can't really afford many EVs in special attack. I'm mostly HP and things like defense. So luckily for me, I can just continue to Draining Kiss because I've gotten a little bit defensively out of control for the freaking Goat. Another Draining Kiss doesn't quite knock the fella out, but as they just continue to Earthquake, I'm at half, and then I can just go ahead and steal that last little bit of HP. So that is going to be able to take care of the Goat, and now we just get to see what they have to deal with the thing. So while they do have some problems, it's probably going to be a spot where, I mean, Alcremie is going to poke some holes in this squad. There's no doubt about it, or at least just be annoying. And that's kind of the main goal. So they do go into the Hisuian Goodra. This thing looks depressed and honestly in pain. And my job is to put it even more so in pain. So knowing that they probably just have some type of, you never know if it's going to be physical or special. Regardless if it's Iron Head, if it's friggin' Flash Cannon, I am going to bust out the Terra Poison. Now, we obviously do not want to be Fairy type anymore to deal with this thing. But also, I outspeed it so I can Draining Kiss it, and it doesn't, yeah, you know, it doesn't do much. This Goodra just never dies. It takes no damage from stuff. But also, it has Gooey, so now I drop my own speed, which is unfortunate. As they go for a Sludge Bomb, that doesn't do anything, and I'm just going to take this opportunity to Calm Mind again. I figure, hey, if you're going to be special, guess what? I'm Calm Minding more. But it turns out they're also mixed because they can just go for an Iron Head now, and they get the flinch, which stinks. But they go for another one. Luckily, that one does not flinch, and I'm going to Acid Armor just in time. So now I'll be like, all right, that just buys me a little bit of time here, right? Because now Iron Heads aren't going to do much. I can even feel like I can boost up a bit more and then try to get some more health back with a Draining Kiss. So now as they go for a Hydro Pump, Buddy's just clicking over there. They're just revealing all the coverage. Hydro Pump is not going to do much. I get up another Calm Mind. And now, obviously, I just need to Draining Kiss. I need to go Draining here. So as they pump again, it does connect. Does not crit, so I'm able to live. And then a Draining Kiss is still just... this thing has to be Assault Vest, because it's just not doing much. But the Draining Kiss is going to at least allow me to live a little bit longer here. And I'm still in a spot where I can take any damn attack from it. So I plan to just spam Draining Kisses here. And it works out pretty nicely because as I avoid a Hydro Pump, which is sick, I go for another one. It's just slowly whittling the damn thing down, and it's looking more and more like I'm going to be able to win this matchup of defensive big bastard. So Gooey is a bit unfortunate here just because the speed drops is going to take base power damage from my stored powers if I'm able to get any off. But again, most of the time, I just Draining Kiss things anyway. Just staying alive and being frustrating is this thing's strong suit, which is definitely, I mean, that's the plan. So again, I am now just continuing to get Gooey Kisses, which again is gross, but as they Iron Head, they end up getting a critical hit, but I live it with 2, and they do not get the flinch, luckily, but the crit does absolutely bust my creamy little balls, because now, as I do finish it with the Draining Kiss, I am at 20 HP, sadly. That crit, hey, you're bound to be crit eventually. When you're using a strategy like this, you kind of got to accept that fact, but I mean, you put RNG in the hands of Lord Arceus just to see what they want to make happen. So we've taken care of 2 Mons early, and now as they're able to go into the Quaquaval, sadly, an Aqua Step is going to be able to take care of me. So down goes the Alcremie, not before, we break down a third of their entire team. But I feel like this is a pretty good display of a more kind of natural and more standard situation that Alcremie is going to get you in. It's not going to be fully body bag stuff, but it will be annoying and funny to use. So, I take care of 2. Yeah, decent sized threats, and now I gotta figure myself out what I'm gonna do here. So against Quaquaval, this thing is pretty frightening. One thing I can do though is go into the Clefable. It does have a Moxie boost, but since I'm unaware, I do not give a damn. Clefable says, what was that? Oh, I didn't see it. So I can then Thunder Wave the guy, and that is just gonna guarantee that I should be able to keep this thing under control. Honestly, Quaquaval getting its weird old-fashioned dragon dances with Aqua Step and Moxie, it can get a bit out of hand, but I figure it's probably going to be faster regardless, but I'm going to try to Stealth Rock if I can. It does get fully paralyzed because I'm feeling like just using evil pink guys today, I guess. I got Clefable, who's an asshole, Alcremie's an asshole, and it's going to allow me to get up my Stealth Rock, so I will absolutely take that. As I continue to get some leftovers here, it will be able to knock me out with another Aqua Step if it's able to get it off, but I'm going to try to Moonblast anyway, and guess what? It gets paralyzed again, which is rude. I will say that's my bad on that one. Thunder Wave is just an evil move, but also now as I go for the Moonblast, that does in fact just take it out. I am max special attack and modest, so that is enough to knock it out, and I could have, I guess, just done that in the first place and not even risked like a Thunder Wave miss, but hey, sometimes it works out because now I had my Stealth Rock up also, and we're feeling pretty good. So as they end up bringing in the Vikavolt here, I'm thinking, Vikavolt's slow. I'm actually going to be faster with Clefable, so I'm like, also, a super effective flamethrower hit is not going to feel good for the thing. So I wag my finger, which summons the power of fire, and it does live it with like 10 HP somehow. But as they fire off a flash cannon, I also live that because a non-stab flash cannon is not taking me out at a little above half. Because Clefable is mean, just like most pink why does it seem like pink Pokemon are just evil? There's something about that. But now I can Moonblast if they want to stay in, and they do, so I finish it off with the Moonblast. And Clefable is just putting in some fine work here. So they're down to 2 Pokemon left, which feels pretty good because I've still got some decent threats. I mean, Clefable's not doing too hot over here, but as they have a revenge switch in here, we now have to deal with an Iron Moth. And the game is far from over if there's a moth around, and this thing is just very scary. So big pointy boy over here. I decide I don't have much that wants to switch into it. I'm just gonna try to Thunder Wave if possible. They do finish me off with the Sludge Wave, which is fine. Look, sometimes you gotta let the Clefable just rest in peace. So we know that we didn't see any booster energy come from the thing, and it didn't get a booster energy speed. While it is a little bit naturally faster than Meowstic, I'm gonna go Meowstic anyway, because if it's modest, I'm gonna be able to outspeed it. And check it out, it does turn out to be modest. I go for the Psychic Noise, which sadly, though, is not quite enough to knock it out. But it is going to give me my Throat Spray, which is cool. So, I mean, hey, we needed that. I get a little +1 special attack boost. Meowstic is looking nice. And while they could have potential Bug Buzz coverage, I figure most of them don't have it. It's non-stab. They just end up going for the Fiery Dance. They do get the special attack boost, but I mean, if you're not going to be... Here's a pro tip for you. If you're running a mon that has base 110 speed, you always have to be running a plus speed nature. There's no way around it. I mean, if you're running Modest on that thing, you're just asking to be outsped by a guy with, like me, with base 104, and I am timid. So that takes care of the Moth, and now final mon is going to be the Gardevoir. So while Gardevoir is also slower, I am +1 special, so I'm going to be able to just throw a little Shadow Ball at it. Probably not going to be enough to knock it out, but we've kind of just whittled down their threats to the point where we should be able to revenge kill. So I go ahead and put the yellow ears up, which is funny. This guy's attacking animation is great. Shadow Ball is going to do some decent chip, but as they fire off a Moonblast, down is going to go the Kitty. But hey, at least we took care of the Moth. We got enough chip on the Gardevoir to where we're feeling, you know, we're feeling safe. But also going to be Life Orb Gardevoir. So all I got to do, bring in the old Spider, easily outspeed the thing, and then with the Choice Specs, all I got to do is kind of just stare at it long enough and it will die. So I'm able to finish it off with a Bug Buzz, and that is going to be the end of it on that one. So just another, just kind of a ridiculous game, honestly. Alcremie still was able to put in work, but while it didn't get the full sweep, it's still pretty satisfying. So that's going to be the end of the game on that one. But that's also now going to bring us into one more bonus match, because this team is pretty fun to mess with, and we're just over here having an interesting time. So without any further ado, honestly, let's just get into it. Why not? All right, so this time my opponent's going to lead off straight up with the Archaludon. Now, not the kind of guy I expected to see as a lead, and I am honestly pretty frightened. Of course, as I've got the lead Clefable here, I'm still just going to click Stealth Rock, because the problem is I really do not have much that wants to hard switch into this damn thing. Now, as they go for the Flash Cannon, I was thinking maybe they would be turn 1 Stealth Rock if it's as a lead, but nope, I am immediately met with a cannon, and it's a bad day to be a Clefable, because I'm kind of used up at this point. And at least though, here I have a little bit of a plan, kind of. So I'm going to end up switching into the Suicune here. Of course, Suicune is not a long-term answer. I figure they probably do still Flash Cannon, which I can take. But then what that's going to do is bait them into clicking an Electro Shot, which obviously they have. Every freaking staple remover asshole is going to be using it. So they go for the Flash Cannon. Suicune absolutely eats it up. We're talking ribbons flying in the wind here. With the ribbons, somehow it's windy indoors, but now, as I try to bait them into clicking Electro Shot, if my calculations are correct, even at +1, I think Alcremie should be able to decently take an Electro Shot. It's gonna be interesting, but I want to steal their special attack boost just for the hell of it. So I switch into the little cream. They do go for the Electro Shot here. I'm fully expecting Power Herb for them to get it off immediately, but as it turns out, after the special attack boost, I get my little Mirror Herb. I'm like, hey, you know what? That actually looks pretty nice. Let me steal that from you. It turns out they do not have the item to get it off immediately, so now we're just met in an interesting situation where I can now go for a little Calm Mind. So I need some special attack boost here to try to match their boost. So they go for the Electro Shot, does do just over half, which is, you know, about kind of what I expected. I now can get off a Calm Mind, and now it becomes a situation where they're probably going to be baited into now going for a Flash Cannon, realizing it's super effective. They're at +1, I'm at +1 special defense, but as I go for the Terra, that's just going to hopefully allow me to not take much from a Flash Cannon. Again, I'm super, specially defensive already just naturally. So at +1 with a Calm Mind, a neutral Flash Cannon hit is going to be, I should take it pretty nicely. So they do go for the Flash Cannon, and it hurts. It obviously hurts, but I'm able to live, allows me to fire off a Draining Kiss, and that does over half at +2 special attack since I stole their, little Electro Shot. We're feeling pretty safe and relatively healthy here. We know that they cannot really go for another Electro Shot because they can't get it off immediately. They just decide to go for a Dragon Pulse, which doesn't do much. I can then finish them off with a little Smoocheroo, and down goes the Archaludon. So that is how you take care of scary steel guy with weird little fairy thing. So at this point now, I'm not fully boosted. I don't have Acid Armor. I'm kind of feeling a little bit vulnerable. But as they go into the Venusaur, I'm thinking, hey, Earth Power is fine. If you want Earth Power, you can click that all damn day. But turns out it's just going to be Bulldoze, which doesn't do much. I'm able to eat that up, and it allows me to fire off a Calm Mind. Fire. He does not really fire it off, but I get up a Calm Mind, and now as I'm at 58 HP, I'm feeling like if they wanted just to Bulldoze, that's totally fine, because now I can Stored Power, and as they go for another Bulldoze, I live it with 16. Very satisfying. It does drop my speed again, but I have a decent amount of boost to where a Stored Power is just going to delete the Venusaur, so that feels pretty damn good. We grab another quick two lead-off KOs to open up the game a bit for us. But sadly, as I wasn't able to get off any acid armors, they can now go into Lycanroc. I'm on the brink of death over here, so it's likely that they can just finish me. So, you know, they do go for his Zen Headbutt, which is weird coverage, but that's able to finish off the Alcremie. And again, this is a more standard display of what this thing's going to do. It's not going to sweep a game. It's very hard to get in situations where you can fully set up defensively, but you can at least poke some holes, and it's pretty fun anyway. So now is we got to try to bring the game back. I figured, hey, if you want to go dog, I've got Majestic Crazy Dog, which can freely, you know, throw some scalds around here, and that Lycanroc absolutely has to get out of here. So as I have the option to set up a Calm Mind, I don't really want to go for it because they have things like this Alolan Raichu. They end up hard switching into, who comes into met with a little bit of forehead water. How does that taste, buddy? It does do some decent chip to the thing. And while I know a Thunderbolt or whatever they want to end up doing is going to hurt, they also have their Terra in the back pocket. So, you know, the game is far from over. They've got 4 Mons left and a Terra. So I figure I don't want to waste the Suicune early. It's a good answer to things like that, Lycanroc. So I decided just to go into the Clefable as death fodder. I fully bring in this thing as death fodder, right? They end up going for Discharge, which I'm able to live. If it was Thunderbolt, it knocks me out. But I'm hanging on, and I'm like, that's fine. Just go ahead. Just knock me out here. I'm going to click Moonblast anyway. But they end up swapping the Raichu out. For whatever reason, I leave them the kill on the silver platter, but they switch. For some reason, they go into the Golurk, who is now just going to take huge chip from a Moonblast. Max special attack Clefable is going to do a lot with the Moonblast, and that's really decent. That's good damage there. It makes Suicune's life a little bit easier. A Scald now easily knocks it out. And it turns out Clefable is faster than Golurk, so you know, I'm 5 base speed faster. Well, I don't have any speed investment, neither does the Golurk, so they just completely give me the Golurk kill for free. Not exactly sure what Buddy was cooking there, thinking the switch there, but I will absolutely take it, and Clefable is still hanging on, which is hilarious. So now as they end up going into the Greninja, I figure, all right, Clefable, your time is up, buddy. This is about all we're able to do. I'm going to click a Thunder Wave just in case, and as they end up, they go for the Water Shuriken. Check it out. They do get the 3 hits, but Clefable is the absolute GOAT. I'm able to somehow live it with 5. This Clefable was meant to die long ago, but instead now I just become an insane menace, and now I can Thunder Wave the Greninja, which is great because now, I mean, that was the only thing faster than my team. So now it's not. Get Thunder Waved, buddy. You should have just stayed in with the Lolichu, and things probably would have worked out a little bit better for you. So, I mean, hey, now I have the option to maybe get a kill if they get paralyzed, but they don't. They they are going to be able to finish me off there. Down goes Clefable, but I will absolutely take that value out of a guy that I switched in for death fodder. And honestly, the reason why they probably went to Greninja here to grab that kill was because of Battle Bond. It's going to get that offensive boost from that, and it would have been honestly very scary had I not got that paralyzed off. But it's battle bonded, and that is fine, because now as I'm looking at it, who can clean the game up, or at least try to? I figure, you know what, Meowstic always needs all the help it can get, so I'm gonna go Meowstic here, just because while I know an Alluring Voice probably doesn't knock it out, I will be able to outspeed and then maybe have a shot at being able to live in attack. Probably not, but I'm banking on the fact that they get paralyzed here, because at +1 then Meowstic just cleans the game up. But as I don't get the kill, which would have been really nice, I do get the throat spray, which does have to feel pretty nice. Got to be nice and soothing on the throat. They do not get paralyzed, however, in a Dark Pulse, especially after Battle Bond, is going to knock me out. So, hey, it was worth a shot for the Meowstic to maybe come in and clean things up for us. Sadly, it does not happen. I'm down to 3 Mons left, but I'm still not that afraid of Greninja. Also, Galvantula looks pretty decent here in this late game because of the fact that they completely wasted Golurk for no reason at all, but I can go into the Galvantula here, and as they've got 3 Mons left, it's going to be the Alolan Raichu, they've got the Greninja, and then they have the Lycanroc. So I actually just need to basically just click the Bug Buzz here. They are going to end up swapping out the Greninja. If I'm them, I'd probably just try for priority there, but they bring in the Lycanroc, and if this thing lives in attack, I'm in a bit of danger. They probably think they can, because most Galvantula is not choice specs, but I am wearing the specs, and that is going to be able to give me just enough damage to knock it out with the Bug Buzz there, which is satisfying. They probably should have conserved that thing and saved it for, I mean, it's naturally faster than Galvantula. But now as they go into the Raichu, Raichu is another Mon that's base 110. I'm base 108. It has the ability to outspeed, and here's the lesson. Always run with max speed. I don't know what people are doing running modest. On a guy like Alolan Raichu, you need to be timid, because that is exactly why. A Bug Buzz is able to finish it off, and it's looking like sometimes you get the little late game sweep with the Galvantula, especially with the specs. This thing is satisfying. Now their final Mon being Greninja comes in. It is going to be able to get off some priority, but it's not going to quite be enough. especially without any boosts. And then a Bug Buzz is going to be able to finish it off. So the late game Spider comes in clutch. That is going to be the end of the game on that one. But if there's one lesson we've learned from today, it is that Alcremie is hilarious. And while it is definitely more difficult to get to going, it can work. It can definitely be scary. So that's going to be the end of the battle on that one. Just a ridiculous game. I figured it's showcased here. And that's going to do it for the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate all the support. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.